What it do, Facebook? It's your boy Romeo. I got my boy Mooney here. And we basically just having a discussion about something that I think our people need to know. And there's a lot of people out there that don't know that there's a level before probable cause. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
There's a level of before probable cause that the police have to have in order to have probable cause. And it's called reasonable suspicion. Without reasonable suspicion, there is no probable cause. They have to have that first. And I just want to educate my people because it was given to me, so I want to pass the knowledge on. And prime example of reasonable suspicion. A lot of people don't know that all that jump out boy stuff, all that is illegal. When they putting you on the curb and checking your shoes and all that, that's illegal. Did you know that?
No.
And the thing is, the reason what makes it illegal is because they're rolling up on you and they don't have reasonable suspicion. I'll give you a prime example of what I mean when I say reasonable suspicion is something that has to be established before probable cause can even come about. It's levels. It's a step. They got to have that first step before you can get to the second step. You can't just jump into the second level of any video game. You got to go through the first level. Just like life. You got to crawl before you walk. So in order to get to probable cause, they have to go through reasonable suspicion. Me and two of my people walking down the street coming from the liquor store. Officers pull up on us, tell us, get out here, put your hands on the car. So the first thing I asked him was, officer, what is your reasonable suspicion for stopping me? I didn't ask him what is his reason for stopping me. What is your reasonable suspicion? And make sure that you say that. What is your reasonable suspicion for stopping us, officer? The only thing the officer could do is say, my reasonable suspicion. Yeah, what is your reasonable suspicion? Oh, my reasonable suspicion is this is a known drug area. That's not enough reasonable suspicion to stop anyone. Because just because I live in this area doesn't mean that I'm a drug user or a drug pusher. So you got to give me something else. Did you see me or anybody that I'm walking with stop and do anything that looked like a drug transaction? Whether we were buying or selling? No, you did not. But yeah, so after, I said that to the officer, he was like, so where you work? I told him, officer, I don't work. At the time, I was still a student. I said, I don't work. He's like, well, what you do? I said, I just go to school. And the next thing out of his mouth was, y'all ain't got to put your hands on the car, which we never did in the first place. But, y'all ain't got to put your hands on the car. That car hot. Now you can treat us with a little more respect as human beings because you can tell us that the car is hot. Because eventually, if we to put our hands on the car, we're going to complain about the heat from the car. And the car is still running. So now that gives you another reason to say that we're being combative. Because we don't want to put our hands on the car. We're not following your direction. Now, how does that work? But once I told him that I didn't work, he asked me, well, what do you do? I said, well, I go to school. Where you go to school? I go to Sanford Brown. Well, what you going to school for? Criminal justice. The exact words that came out of his mouth were, oh, so you're going to be out here fucking with people in no time. I said, I'm not going to be out here fucking with anybody. I'll be out here doing my job, which is exactly what you're supposed to be doing. That's the benefit of knowing certain things. If you can go toe to toe with them verbally versus physically, mentally, you're gonna win. If you know what you need to know, then you have a better outcome of not ending up in a violent situation. Now, granted, there are some officers that can just be assholes. Let's just be 100% real about that. I mean, you can shoot a man with his hands up, or shoot a man with his hands up walking back to his vehicle, needing your help, and you kill him dead. I mean, let's just be real. That's just being an asshole.
Hallelujah.
So I'm not saying that just because you can speak to them doesn't mean they won't still find a reason to kill you. That's not what I'm saying. But if you can find one that you can actually talk to, you know what you need to know to get them up off you, then use what you got to use, in which you're going to come out better. And so with having reasonable suspicion, now they don't have probable cause. So you can't do a Terry search, and Terry search will be in my next video.